मेरी तरफ से फिर से आप सबका स्वागत है इस अहम डिस्कशन के लिए। और अभी तक जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेट हुआ इनॉग्रल सेशन में, अब हम उसे एक कदम और आगे बढ़ा करके ले जाने वाले हैं। हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही ऑगस्ट पैनल मौजूद है जो ना सिर्फ इस क्षेत्र में काम कर रहा है, इस कॉज के लिए बहुत ही कमिटेड है। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम सबको टाइम्स ग्रुप की तरफ से मैं आप सबको बधाई देती हूँ कि आप इस अहम कॉज के लिए यहाँ पर सामने आए हैं सर। संजय सर, सबसे पहले आपसे ही मैं शुरू करूँगी क्योंकि जो जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपके पास में है तो उससे बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग जुड़े हुए हैं, स्पेशली द फार्मर्स आर एसोसिएटेड, एंड वहाँ किस प्रकार के कंसर्न्स होते हैं साइबर सिक्योरिटी के, और इन जनरल एक ओवर आर्चिंग व्यू आपका क्या है साइबर सिक्योरिटी के विषय में। लेट अस हैव एन ओपनिंग रिमार्क फ्रॉम यू सर।
Thank you very much. Grateful that I have been invited along with the other August panel members. Uh, this subject is now is dear to all of us who are handling IT or IT projects, especially who are handling big data and whose database is very, very critical, very important, and anything going wrong would literally doom the organization. For us, data security, cyber security is of utmost importance. As we have, if something goes wrong in the family, you have a hangover of the pain, somebody in the family is seriously ill or that. So it keeps on at the back of your mind, tinkling you and giving you some sort of concern and pain. Similarly, nowadays, people, project managers or CEOs who are handling big data projects where the data is very, very critical to the running of the organization. And data would mean it would be definitely linked to money and the whole business model and economics of the organization. I'm handling two data sets. One as Additional Chief Secretary, Sugar Industry and Cane Development. We have a data of around 60 lakh farmers, sugarcane farmers, and that data in terms of economic or monetary value is around 38,000 crore per annum. So if my data goes wrong, my entire sugarcane crushing would go haywire, which is of 120 sugar mills. So we have around 120 sugar mills running, and it may increase by another one or two this year. So, so around this number of sugar mill, we crush cane to a tune of 1100 to 1200 lakh metric tons. So that's the huge, humongous amount of cane we crush across the state in 41 districts or 40 districts out of the 75 districts. We don't have presence in the from western southwest to southeast. We have no presence, but northwest to northeast we have presence in 40 districts. We have around these 120 sugar mills, and we have 60 lakh farmers connected with it, and they give supply cane to the sugar mills. So starting from their survey of their farm, which is done every year, because every year the sugarcane farmer rotates his crop. Sometimes he takes sugarcane and paddy in kharif and rabi, and then sugarcane, then wheat, like that. That's the crop rotation. That's mandatory. It's not he can grow sugarcane or grow paddy or wheat continuously. So every year we have to survey his plot. The survey, from that point, the data enters into the database. So once we use HHC, that is handheld computer device, suppose this is the farm. So if this is the farm, we go around the perimeter of the farm. So we start from one end and we go along the perimeter, and the moment we come here, the survey is complete. Then we fill what is the crop which has put, whether it is crop or ratoon, what is the variety he has put, and all that. And then once everything is filled, and it is done in a tripartite manner. The farmer, the sugar mill, and the department is there. And once everybody says okay, the button is punched, and he is given a slip which is the service slip, and the data goes directly into the server, data server. Now, this is how the data of 60 lakh farmers, but each farmer has 4 to 5 plots. So you can imagine 60 lakh into that many number of plots. So that's the coordinates, data, the area, acreage, and the yield, and the total cane production. So everything gets computed automatically through the software. So once you have done the acreage, you have done everything, you have the average yield of the district, everything punched in. So the yield and the total production goes into it. Now from that, his entire calendaring is done, which farmer would supply when, and when he's supposed to supply. So his entire calendaring is done, which all he can see on our portal, Smart Ganna Kisan, or an app, Android app, which is also called Smart Ganna Kisan. So he can go and see, and he has to know when he has to, because he can't harvest his whole crop and give it to the mill. He has to harvest in bits and pieces. So he is told that you have to harvest 9 quintal or 18 quintal or 27 quintal, like that. And he has been told that you will have to do it on, say, 1st, then 7th, then 14th, like that. So all that is shown on the software. Accordingly, harvests and takes it. And then the crushing is done, sugar production takes place, ethanol production takes place, so on and so forth. And then the money goes. And that money is around 39,000 crore. So that's the sensitivity of my data. If anything goes wrong, my entire data gets corrupted, and my entire operation from survey to cane price payment goes haywire.
Comes to a standstill in that case. In short,
The department would come to a standstill. And let me tell you, it's a political crop. It's a cash crop, but it's a political crop. There's politics in 45 districts of cane. If my system doesn't operate for 1 hour, it would start creating a law and order situation. And if it stops for 6 hours, then I will have road jams. Your Delhi Nainital, Delhi Dehradun,
the state can come to a standstill.
yeah, so you can understand. So that's it. Now my second set is excise. There my revenue is this year 42,000 crores. So we track and trace each drop of liquor from the molasses to the liquor goes into the mouth of the consumer or on his tongue, the first drop, it is tracked. So there the revenue involved is 42,000 crore. This year it would be 52,000 crore. So you can understand the revenues involved. And 2 departments, and these all goes, the first one goes into the pocket of the farmer. That is his money, his hard-earned money. It goes into the pocket of the farmer. Plus there are some other revenues which the societies get to run the system. And the second revenue goes into the treasury, through which government, now today we were 4th in the state, excise revenue. First was GST, then the other entertainment and transport departments, and 4th was excise. Today we are 50% of GST. Last 2 months, they were 17,000 GST, and we were around 7,000, 8,000 crore. So we are around 50%. So that, and from that amount, all these developmental activities goes. So it is always there in my mind. So we are very, very careful in getting the cyber security checks done, the tests done, all
what
those.
What kind of cyber security checks are in place, sir, in your department?
Yes, they are in place, but many a times we fight for, because every year we have to go through the process of cyber security, whether it is done on time or not, properly the certifications are done, because data certification, software certification, so that no bugs come, because nowadays what I have understood, that ITES softwares, all this is too good. It reduces the drudgery to near zero. But the risk is that it at times it can be very fragile. Software can be very fragile, and very rightly said, nowadays the type of mischief the hackers are doing, or cyber threats we are getting. And in one case, in the very first year, in our sugarcane department, they hacked our data, they took our data, they asked for, what do you call that, now the digital currency, cryptocurrency. They asked us some 4,000 cryptocurrencies, which was coming into a few lakh rupees in those days. We paid that and they didn't return us the data also. So that's the amount of, so we have gone through and we have been bitten by this. So it is highly sensitive for private as well as any corporate which is into business and economics and finances. It is very, like banking sector. And we have seen how many accounts have been hacked, credit card data have been stolen and stuff like that. We are also worried because we have Aadhaar number. It can't go in anybody's hand. We have 60 lakh farmers bank account numbers, 60 lakh farmers Aadhaar details.
The canvas of this thing is much bigger than this, because this is not just about 60 lakh farmers, I believe. It's also about the kind of people who are using these facilities.
Yes.
Because sugarcane industry coming down to a standstill or to a halt even for that matter would impact the entire state, and because sugar is such a commodity, besides being politically significant, I think it's not just about 60 lakh farmers, it's about the entire nation and the entire state as well. I mean, you have left a point here. I would ask Kolanchi sir to comment on the kind of individual problems that come surface before you as you lead the cybercrime department of Uttar Pradesh Police, sir.
Actually, first of all, I thank for providing this opportunity. One thing, sir, just mentioned about paying something and getting the data back. You are lucky, sir. Actually.
No, we didn't get back.
Okay, I get that, you get that. They never give back. They ask for more again and again. Yesterday paper I read, one colonel, retired colonel, he paid 2.5 crores. I say some cases mein, they ask again and again, ab itna pay kar diya, extra 50,000 pay kar diya. I say, that amount reached 2.5 crore. Regarding my department, cybercrime, I am DIG Cybercrime UP. I am in this post for the last 1 year. We have 18 cybercrime thanas throughout UP in all range headquarters. As you asked, madam, our deputy CM sir mentioned about how this online penetration in UP, village tak hai. Utna cybercrime hai, and we are getting cases from everywhere. Daily, that scale is unimaginable. What you are reading in newspaper, TV is the tip of the iceberg. What's really happening is, usse you can say 100-fold ज़्यादा है. Most of the people not willing to give the complaint. और complaint देने के बाद भी pursue करने में बहुत दिक्कत है. And this cyber crime department, regarding cyber security, madam, if cyber security में there is some lapses, then we come into this thing. Something happened, कुछ crime हुआ, then we come. ये this golden word से prevention is better than cure. Cyber security के लिए it's better आप थोड़ा मतलब अवेयरनेस से जागरूकता से थोड़ा होगा इतना आप सेव कर सकते हैं वो क्राइम होने के बाद, बिकॉज ये साइबर क्राइम का नेचर इंटरनेशनल नेचर, पैन इंडिया नेचर. ये क्राइम हुआ ऐसे सार पेड 4,000, अगर इसका ट्रैक करना है, इसका मोबाइल नंबर इश्यू होगा, सिम इश्यू हो गई वेस्ट बंगाल से, उनका आधार नंबर होगा दिल्ली से, बैंक अकाउंट होगा तमिलनाडु से, क्रिमिनल का कुछ लोकेशन मिलेगा जम्मू एंड कश्मीर से, वो पैसा सर Sir, Germany, I'm mentioning that, sir. And that 4,000 rupees, crypto mein, sir. Converted into crypto and across borders. Nowadays, mostly to China, Russia. It's very difficult to get the money back after a crime happened. But in some cases, I can say we are some 60-70% successful, madam, overall. We have worked cases from 5,000 to 146 crore. One case mein, bank mein, 146 crore ka cyber crime hua. We recovered that money, arrested 12 people. One small case, 5,000. Isme, that 5,000 rupees is annual savings of a worker. Yes. 1 year saving. He was planning to buy a smartphone using that money. I say online में देखा 25,000 का mobile, 5,000 का कोई military जवान दे रहा है. उसी भरोसा से he himself transferred that money. Then later he realized अभी mobile भी आने वाला नहीं है, mobile बंद हो गई, किस number से बात हो रहा है. He is a worker of my old boss, retired DIG. He called me, I said, 5,000 case. 5,000, we take it very lightly. Then he told me, this is not about 5,000 Kolanji, this is 1 year savings of my worker. So, usi seriousness, please see this case. Then we registered the case. मैं 5,000 का बात कर रहा हूँ because वो case का trace करके इतनी state में मैं बात करना पड़ा to my batchmates IPS में. and every batchmate was asking me 5,000 के लिए मुझे इतना कॉल कर रहे हैं. I gave the same statement.
The amount is maybe small, but it is what he was saying that the person at receiving it is all about his aspirations.
Aspiration, 1 year
about his
saving.
life. And his faith in the system, sir. Probably that is why he was insisting on that, and in fact that is what we look forward to you for.
And finally, we recovered that money, arrested the criminal after a lot of effort. Why I'm explaining this case, to recover a amount of 5,000, we took around 2-3 weeks. And अगर इतना प्रयास नहीं हुआ, 5,000 जनरली पीपल कंप्लेन भी नहीं होते हैं, उसका ज़्यादा प्रयास भी नहीं होते हैं. अमाउंट ज़्यादा है, ज़्यादा एफर्ट होता है. इस केस में I personally invited that man, my DIG came, I gave that money personally. उनका वो है फेस में वो कुछ देखा, that's a real inspiration. We don't to work out cases, to pursue the cases. इतना भी कम अमाउंट हो, because ये 5,000 एक केस है, but that criminal again and again he will commit the same kind of thing. My DIG told me, every single case, madam, you asked about this, 5,000 से 156 crore तक, in between, all kind of cases, 1 crore, 2 crore, lakhs.
So, sir, what is the common prevention that you would like to suggest to people before they land up to your doorstep, sir? I mean, a lot of people are reluctant about doing their KYCs. I mean, just a simple, address
Yes,
verification.
one of your this indicative questions में है ये. Actually, what is your solution? What is the major cause for all these things? You are asking about prevention. Actually, I thought about that. You are asking about one major point. I thought about lot of things, technology-wise. Last में मुझे मेरा ये मन में आया GF. GF एक ऐसे word में बनाया. I am having a son, 17-year-old. I asked him, what do you think? अगर मैं आपसे GF बोलूँगा, immediately what comes into your mind? He told me, 17-year-old, he told me, girlfriend. Sorry is also telling. उसी लिफ्ट में मेरे साथ एक बैंक मैनेजर है, 50-year-old. I asked him, sir, GF आपका मन में क्या हो रहा है? He told me, Godfather.
Very interesting.
And I have one more son, he is 15-year-old. I asked him, आपका मन में क्या हो रहा है? This is after 2 days back. I'm thinking about this GF again and again. He told me GF means grandfather. एक GF का इतना meaning है, but as a cybercrime DIG, madam asking about that prevention, this GF ka I am giving 2 words. G for greediness, F for fear. There is no easy money, we tell in English. इसी greediness से इतना cyber crime हो रहा है, more than 90%, आदमी खुद ही OTP बोल रहा है, खुद ही amount transfer कर रहा है. They are doing everything. अगर बैंक मैनेजर से हम बात करेंगे, sir, what we have to do? This man himself transfer the money to the account. What is the crime?
Yeah.
कोर्ट में प्रूव करने में, क्रिमिनल का पनिशमेंट देने में, it's very difficult out of this greediness, लालची हिंदी में.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the main thing. आप कैसे greediness का कैसे प्रिवेंट करना, मैडम? That's all question.
It's a very important fact that you said it's not just about technology. ये overall life में भी है. There are no free lunches in this world. और आप कितना भी आप अगर आगे करके लेकर के आएंगे ना, इसका कोई एंड नहीं है. आप 5,000 हो आपके पास, 500 करोड़ हो, उसका कोई एंड नहीं है. और वो बहुत पर्सनल डिस्क्रिप्शन है. लेकिन जो ट्रेडिशनल विजडम कहता है वो यही सिखाता है कि ग्रीडीनेस नहीं करनी चाहिए, ग्रीड के ट्रैप में नहीं फंसना चाहिए. तो जब नेक्स्ट टाइम मैसेजेस आएंगे कि भाई 5,000 रुपीज़ की लॉटरी लगी है या 1 करोड़ का लोन सैंक्शन हो गया है, तो प्लीज डोंट फॉल प्रे टू इट. राइट.
There is no free lunch, there is no easy money. कहाँ भी आपका आप 1 लाख इन्वेस्ट कर लीजिए, every month I will give you 50,000, 40,000. Don't believe these kind of things. That awareness is the prevention, creation of awareness. F means fear. One thing is greediness. Out of greediness, people do the things themselves that is helping the cyber criminal. मैं F का fear बताया. Out of अभी मैडम बताया KYC. आपका KYC अपडेट नहीं होगा, आपका अकाउंट फ्रीज होगा, आपका आधार कार्ड बंद होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा, अरेस्ट होगा, आपके खिलाफ मुकदमा होगा. Some cases में, शिक्षाशासन cases में, I am talking from CBI. I am talking from cybercrime department. You have to do this. Otherwise, this video will be uploaded in YouTube. Fear, creating fear. Out of greediness, second thing, fear. These words, 2 words, GF. ये ज़्यादा सभी को गांव तक greediness से नहीं करना, fear से नहीं करना. अगर कोई भी आपका लालच दे रहा है, इमीडिएटली कंप्लेन करना. इसी नंबर से मुझे कॉल आ रहा है, ये हो रहा है. सभी लोग नोट कर लीजिए, 1930 एक नंबर है. इसी नंबर में अगर क्राइम हुआ, आप कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं. अगर आपका कोई भी डाउट हो, आपका कुछ ऐसे लालच हो रहा है, ये कोई भी हो, you can get direction from this number. Call this number, ये हो रहा है, मुझे क्या करना? They will direct you. They will give you direction.
I
Thank
would,
you.
meanwhile, I would like to welcome Shri Kumar Vinitji, Special Secretary, IT and Electronics, and MD UP Desco, Government of India. He was supposed to join us a little before, but thank you so much for coming in, sir. Thank you so much for sparing your time. So we were again discussing our topic about current challenges in cybersecurity in Uttar Pradesh. We had a very insightful input from Sanjay Bhus Reddy, sir, who told us about his data set regarding the sugarcane farmers of Uttar Pradesh and the kind of the quantum of work that it involves. And that gave us a cue to speak to Shri Kolanchi ji as well, who's the DIG of cybercrime in Uttar Pradesh. So he was telling us that from just rupees 5,000 to 1 crore 56, 146 crores, I think. The volume of crime and also money-related crimes is so high, and that is what all these things make cybersecurity very, very significant for us. So would you like to give us an opening remark, sir?
Thank you so much. Well, before I initiate, first of all, my apologies for being late. And I'm very sure that Bhus Reddy sir is here, so he must have given a very, very thoughtful insight. But I would like to come up with my first opening statement about your current challenges. The most important challenge that I face, because I am Special Secretary IT and I also manage the state data center on behalf of my state, and I'm also the Chief Information Security Officer for the state. Now, the first and foremost challenge that I really face is the inability of the departments to actually understand the level of threats that are happening in cybersecurity. The most intelligent of the officers, the most intelligent of the work persons are not in consonance with this particular aspect because it is assumed that this is a part of something that a department has to take care. No. There are very few, chosen few, one of them is Sanjay sir and say Power Corporation, who actually get into the cybersecurity per se. Otherwise, if I say in my data center with more than 300 TB of data, approximately 200 departments, more than 70% are generally on HTTP. The first GIGW guideline is a failure on that part. Second thing is the SSL certifications are not there. And in continuation with what DIG sir must have said, maximum crimes may be, because crime is a per se of what is not happening because of a cybersecurity issues that we have not taken up. Maybe 70%, 80% of the crimes are happening because of the people who are supposedly as intelligent as you and me are. एक मैसेज आया, एक लिंक क्लिक किया, डाटा भी दे दिया, let us see how happy you are today, Facebook पे अपना लिंक किया, पूरा का पूरा डाटा. If you click just one site and you just go through it, after 15 minutes you will start getting calls. So that is the perception, that is a level through which data is permeating out of you, out of us, to in a different way, in a different zone. So of course there is dark web, and it has to exist, and it always exists. There are cyberpunks who are doing it. There are phishing incidents that are always happening. DDoS attacks happen as much as possible. Maybe 10 to 15,000 DDoS attacks happen in my site every day. So it happens because DDoS is nothing like you're going to have something that people are trying to get into it. They're trying to encroach into it. And once in a while, in 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1 lakh event, if that gets succeed, that creates a problem. So for me in a state like Uttar Pradesh, I really am thankful to the organizers, ET and Zscaler, that they have come up with this concept that at least there should be awareness. So awareness, one, at the level of individual. Awareness, two, at the level of organization, be it private, be it public. And awareness, three, ability to assume and adapt that this is something that is not going to correlate anything in a functionality of optics of business, or optics of money, or optics of anything that comes out scalability. Actually, this is a level that we all have to adopt for something that might happen and that something that might never happen. And the best thing is that it might never happen. So that is what cybersecurity per se is all about. The perception that I would like to again conclude is that in my state, I would really love that this awareness programs keep on going, happening more and more, so that my departments, my state organizations, my private organizations, because things are growing like astronomically in Uttar Pradesh also. More than 800 megawatt data center is already in pipeline. So data is there to stay. Edge data centers are coming, gaming policy is coming, cybersecurity policy is coming. So many things are definitely going up in Uttar Pradesh also, and we are leaping leaps and bounds. We are definitely going to be at one of the top levels of all other states as compared to anyone like, say, Tamil Nadu or, say, Kerala or, say, Karnataka. We are trying to cope up with that. But yes, as of now, this particular aspect, this particular feature has taken a slightly back seat, which we need to push up.
Thank you so much for that insight, sir. I mean, you've told about the need for awareness. We have Mr. Nag with us. Would you like to comment on the canvas of vulnerability or the extent of the problem, maybe? How big is the problem of cyber threat? Sir, maybe you'll be able to explain us a little more on that.
Surely, surely. Thank you so much, and appreciate this opportunity for us to share our point of view. I want to elevate this, a step back, in the sense, if you go back to the 1980s or even the 70s, Cold War started. Cold War led to terrorism. Terrorism led to, the cost of terrorism is so high. If you just correlate the cost of terrorism to what all actions that we got to take today in the last 30 years, how it has evolved, if you apply the same thought process on cybersecurity of what will happen over the next 30 years, is going to be phenomenal. And one of the aspects that we got to think about is, more and more the world is going to become flatter, because digitally world will make things flatter, which is basically I can sit in any district, any village, any tehsil, to connect to any information that I need, be it a program that is delivered by the central ministry or the state ministry, or something that could be relevant to the district. So the world is going to be flat. When the world becomes flat, there are very good things that will come to us, which means that the scale will become bigger. Digital systems will scale and help us to scale the economy. But it also has its challenges. The challenges that will expose us is, when the world becomes flat, nation-state actors have access to the same information and insights that you and me have, being part of the same country, which exposes us to a lot of threats. Part of the threat is what you spoke about, vulnerabilities, which means that there are millions and millions of software that operates across the globe. And to think of keeping up to date to all the vulnerabilities and threats that we see day in and day out, it's next to impossible. Our point of view is, we call it the power of invisibility. What do we mean by power of invisibility? Power of invisibility is, you can attack what you can see. Our view is, vulnerabilities when exposed can be attacked. What if I hide the vulnerability and bring in the power of invisibility, is our point of view. And that point of view is aligned directly to the concept of zero trust. So our view is, at some point in time, countries and organizations will have to adopt this methodology to secure and safeguard, because the data is about citizens and PI data, which is super, super critical.
No, apart from cane, I have also given the example of excise. There, it is pure government revenue and the entire business model, because we have around 30 distilleries in UP producing Indian-made foreign liquor, or they are also bottling Scotch whiskies of Europe and other countries in India. We call bottled in India, though that's an imported stuff. Plus we have UP liquor, which is a grain-based country liquor, and another is molasses-based country liquor. So all these are being produced. So their revenues are also involved. Plus, we have around 30,000 liquor shops. So their business model is also involved. And we get products from abroad, from 50 odd countries. We get some best quality beer from Japan, from all European countries, UK, US, Canada, Australia. So everyone's business model will get impacted if our track and trace project gets affected. I'll give you one more example that in sugarcane, we recently, because of the cyber security threats, we said, let's block all users who are using out from outside India. So they said, "Ki sir, inko block kar dete." I said, do you know how many of our farmers who are staying abroad or who are working abroad or who have gone for employment or for their professional activities, or laborers of Eastern UP and Western UP or Uttar Pradesh as a state are working in these all Saudi Arabian countries? So I said, you just see that, because many are in directly touch with me. So I said, when we were about to develop this system and softwares and this portal, so I said, you just check. I know at least few dozen who are in touch with me, who are professors and others such in good European and Western universities. Then they came up कि सर हमारे तो 40 countries से farmers देख रहे हैं, and they are seeing from there, and their parents are illiterate, so they are managing their farms, sugarcane operations sitting from 40 countries. I said, if you will block, they'll all start cribbing. He said, our portal is not working, it's not allowing us access. It will give access failure. I said, this is not the solution. The solution is that you have all these certifications, the cyber security certifications in place, and all tests done, security tests done, so that they don't impact. So what I'm trying to say that it's now, as you have said, the world will become flat. It is already flat, and it's a global village. People, it's not that your cane farmer in eastern UP of Devariya is working from Devariya. He is seeing from Oman. He is seeing from Abu Dhabi. One of our professor from Saharanpur, he is a professor in Hong Kong and Singapore, either Hong Kong or Singapore. His mother is looking after the farm with the help of a servant, and she is an old lady. Actually, he operates from there. So he, on that Android phone, he operates everything. So therefore, we have to put systems in place, and I agree with what Special Secretary said. There are lots of fragile areas now. There are lots of penetration points available, because as he said that we have to follow certain cyber security protocols. We are still on HTTP. We are not on HTTPS or whatever better protocols to follow. Proper certifications have not been done. And so much of data is there. And UP being one of the biggest state, and lots of all these data centers coming, I think what he was mentioning is the Noida data center, which is coming up. So big data centers are coming up at Noida, Lucknow, and all other places. So a lot of data will come and reside. We have to protect the data, and we have to ensure that all these protocols of cyber security is put in place, and a robust system is put in place, and a very regular regimentation and of checking and updating and monitoring, it has to be there. Otherwise, it's very, very small. One fragile attack, and if it is successful in penetrating, then you had it.
System goes for a toss. Sir, I'll come back to you again. You know, police is always the first point of reference when it comes to any kind of trouble, be it an organization, be it an individual, sir. So how is our department preparing to, you know, catch up with this kind of challenge?
Like, madam, we are trying our best in creating awareness first among the people. Like I mentioned, greedy na ho, fear se kaam na karo, 1930 se baat karke koi bhi kaam karna hai. I mentioned that number 1930. If the crime happen, anybody can call that number. That's a toll-free number. They can inform. Immediately they register the case, and immediately we try to freeze that account. कौन से account में पैसा ऐसे criminal ले लिया आपका account से, उधर से freeze होगा. Like in health sector में they are mentioning about golden hour. This is also very important. अगर आपका कुछ crime हुआ, fraud हुआ, कोई गलती से आपका पैसा आपका account से चली गई, immediately call this 1930. And I am also requesting you, madam, to give proper importance to in the propaganda of this number 1930. इतना गांव तक नंबर पहुंचेंगे. क्रिमिनल का ये होना है, अगर मैं इतना मुश्किल से क्राइम कर रहा हूँ, फिर भी 10 मिनट में वो फ्रीज हो गई. And police is after me. ये धीरे धीरे होगा, क्राइम कम होगा मेरा. That's one way. 1930 कोई भी कॉल करके immediately बताएंगे, अमाउंट फ्रीज होगा, and we get that criminal. I consider the main success is saving the money. क्रिमिनल को हम कभी भी पकड़ेंगे. कोई भी आदमी का हार्ड वर्क मनी है, उनका लाइफ लॉन्ग सेविंग्स है, रिटायरमेंट नहीं है, पेंशन का मनी है, वो मिस नहीं होना. That we do, madam. 1930. Central government is also helping a lot in this thing, and we registered lakhs of cases.
Yes, we know that, sir. But I learned that recently a massive training of the workforce was also done
Yes,
by
ma'am.
your department, sir, on this issue. So can you share some more details on that, sir, and how will the people of state benefit from that, sir?
Actually, UP force around 4 lakh. Around 60-70% people already got their training regarding cyber crimes and how to work the cases. And remaining का भी जल्दी training देने का वो लगातार continuous effort is going on, madam. The thing is, ऐसे हमारा कांस्टेबल नया कांस्टेबल आ रहा है, आम आदमी कैसे है उनका भी ज़्यादा नॉलेज नहीं है शुरू में. Like when I joined the cyber crime department, we can say, madam, illiterate बोलता है. We are also illiterates in cyber illiterates.
Yeah, so we have to
Digital-
deal with that. Digital literacy.
Poor digital literacy. We are also
Cyber
poor in
awareness.
cyber thing. I may have a degree, I am in IPS, IAS, I may इतना बड़ा मतलब IT में है, फिर भी I am illiterate in cyber area. Maybe ऐसे एक टच करके, कोई क्लिक करके कुछ गलत कर रहा हूँ, मेरा पैसा भी जा रहा है. मतलब because I don't want to say the names, but in all areas, IAS, IPS, IRS, the so-called all
No,
kind
we
of
are humans.
yes, madam. Illiterates, humans, and we are all imperfect, and we have to accept it. I have seen the cases. सभी level में वो cyber illiteracy होता है. Our main aim, madam, to provide this cyber literacy to all.
I think in some days this should be made a mandatory part of school education so that
Yes,
in
madam.
the
We are
days to
recommending,
come,
madam, actually in all this
Yeah.
thing, school curriculum में ये होना है.
some people, it's not just about you, sir. I am also very scared of, falling prey to all kind of cyber frauds and all. Na? I don't use it very often.
And criminals are very creative and innovative. madam. इतना नया तरीका पकड़ रहा है, कुछ evolve हो रहा है,
No,
immediately
sir,
उसका
they are very smart. I mean, they'll send you a message ki we are happy to inform that your loan has been approved. So, and they will replace it by very small tactics ki जहाँ yes होना चाहिए reflex में हम yes दबाते हैं, वहाँ उन्होंने no रखा हुआ है और जहाँ no दबाते हैं वहाँ yes रखा हुआ है. तो हम no अपने mind में तो हम no दबा रहे हैं लेकिन हमने कहीं ना कहीं yes दबा दिया है और उनको permission दे दी कि आओ भैया हमारे फोन में से सारा डेटा ले जाओ. सो ये माइंडफुलनेस इसका बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट एक एस्पेक्ट हैगा कि हम लोगों को देखना चाहिए कि हम सही में मतलब ये कहाँ से मैसेज आया है उसको डाउटफुली देखना चाहिए. आई थिंक
Actually, madam, earlier I used to say trust everyone. अरे हम सभी लोग इंसान हैं, believe करो, बिना भरोसा बिना trust काम नहीं होगा. I used to say this. Later I changed this, trust but verify. Trust तो करो फिर verify करो. Nowadays आपका zero trust this thing, sir. Never trust, always verify. Never trust, always verify. कोई क्लिक करने के पहले, टच करने के पहले ये करना है नहीं करना है, उसी मन से ये कोई क्रिमिनल कर रहा है, सोच करके उसका पूरी बैकग्राउंड चेक करके then you do the transfer. Never trust, always verify. That should be the take home point of this meeting.
I'll also like to quote one very important rule that we as journalists follow. We always say that when in doubt, cut it out. When you are ever in doubt about a thing, we just leave it away and take a call on it later on. So verify. I mean, what we do later on is that we verify. So, but I think verification is very significant at every possible step, sir. So at the individual level, we have been talking about what kind of things are happening, sir. What is happening at the level of the departments, sir?
I think you're indicating about the policy.
The policy is about to come, sir, and
policy.
just recently, I think you have been appointed as our chief.
Thank you so much. So
information.
I got, well, Uttar Pradesh, we have our directives. We had been giving our directives to various departments, but then it was being felt that yes, we should have a cybersecurity policy as well. So we have drafted it, and we had many rounds of industry consultations, academic consultations. We threw it open for the last 6 to 7 months to various levels so that we could get good comments on that, and we definitely got very good comments also on that. And now we are trying to move ahead with our cybersecurity policy because, see, we are trying to create a scenario where things don't happen. We try to create a scenario where we can avoid things happening because, of course, the hacker is also not someone who is just a small petty thief who can just get into the system. He or she is also a very, very intelligent person who is trying to get in terms of what we are trying to do. हमारे इक्वल लेवल पर ही है वो डार्क वेब में अगर ले जा रहा है हमारे डाटा को वो हर लेवल पे बीट करता है डेफिनेटली मतलब इट्स अ कैट एंड माउस केस वो भी कहीं ना कहीं हमसे ज़्यादा भारी भी पड़ सकता है इंटेलिजेंट होगा डेफिनेटली सो ही माइट बी ए साइबर पंक ही माइट बी साइबर क्रिमिनल ही माइट बी ए एथिकल हैकर एज वेल कि हमको बस वॉर्न करके चला जाए एक डिपार्टमेंट में एक साइबर हैकर ने हमको बस एक पेज क्रिएट कर दिया है रात के 11:30 बजे और हमें वॉर्न करके चला गया कि बेटा देखो तुम्हारा मामला गड़बड़ है. So just a page was created. That fellow never did anything else. No data was taken out, nothing was done. Just a page was created. So he tried to get across the message that yes, there is a vulnerability that you have to get into. Your penetration test has not been effective. I can get into your firewalls. I can get across your system. So the very thought process, as you said, because we are entering into complexity. If I say about data center, I have more than 8 to 9 crores of data of various levels, be it Kisan, be it policies, be it student health recently. All data are there in the data center itself. So now this data is a golden mine. किसी भी health के अगर हमारे एक data का एक optics भी अगर निकल गया कि 35 to 50 में क्या variation हो रहा है health का, so that is good enough for a pharmaceutical industry or someone to take care of it. And that is the data that actually they put it up in the dark web and you get continuously out of it. So these are the issues that we have to cater into. Secondly, systematization. Because incrementalism and decentralization is a major concept. कुछ साल हम सब कुछ deconcentrate करते हैं, decentralize करते हैं. After certain level we create, we again centralize. बहुत सारे departments हो गए तो we created वन एग्रीकल्चर बहुत सारे एग्रीकल्चर में डिकन्सनट्रेट करना हुआ हॉर्टिकल्चर बन गया पिसिकल्चर बन गया देन अगेन वी केम आउट विद अ लेवल सो दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ इंक्रीमेंटलिज्म कंटिन्यूज ऑन नाउ एट सम लेवल वी हैव टू क्रिस्टलाइज इट and we have to come up with a clear policy network which gives an idea that what state wants into, because the policy gives a clear indicative, a document about what the state is about thinking about. We are aligned with MITI. We are aligned with central government various directives. We are also trying to create, I'm just trying to give an idea into what we are thinking about, though I shouldn't. We are trying to create a similar NOx as we had certain over there in Government of India, so that we may have a similar organization which has an equal synergism with the, say for example, Zscaler. कुछ कर रहे हैं, department को कैसे absorb करें, because these are all typical focused and centric concepts that one industry can develop, other industry can develop, but it has to come up on a same platform so that ultimately we can derive something out of it. So this synergism को maintain करने के लिए we are trying to develop one such NOx so that all the departments can get help out of it. किसी department को ये सोचना कि अरे मेरा data है and still IT department देखेगा वो जाने department ही इसीलिए बना है मैं क्या जानूँ? No. We have to own our data. We have to take care of our data. We can just create a guideline to maintain it. Now, because guidelines were one level, now we have to get into above the complexity of one more level. So we are coming up with the policy. So that is what state is thinking about. Second part is that Chief Information Security Officer, which is a very important position in various organizations across the world. Now, every department has to have two things. One is a system administrator, and second is the data administrator, and of course the Chief Information Security Officer, who continuously manages, monitors what is happening. किस तरह का trend आ रहा है? Attacks तो आते रहेंगे. What is an attack? Just trying to deny you of something of the services that a system offers, or try to steal away out of it. So this is what DDoS is, dedicated denial of services, or steal something out of it. So in both the process, there has to be a mechanism that continuously watches it on behalf of the government, on behalf of that particular department or the owner of that data. तो ये फीलिंग, ये सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अभी हमें धीरे धीरे डिपार्टमेंट्स में परकुलेट करनी है. इंडिविजुअल केसेस में हो जाता है. फॉर एग्जांपल, माय सीनियर सर इज हियर, भुसरेड्डी सर, he has, because he himself is so much involved, so their data center is perfectly fine. Their issues are perfectly fine. No one can claim that everything is perfectly fine. We are trying our best not to happen. Something happens, कुछ भी हो सकता है. But there are various departments where this type of data are being carelessly handled, and that is what we are trying to hammer into it, that yes, every department should have their own security officer. In fact, we are also trying to have their information technology officer as well, so that information technology per se and security of the data per se, they both are taken together in synergism. And finally, sir के पास ना जाना पड़े, 1930 ना use करना पड़े, that is what the entire process is all about. लेकिन ये तो होना ही है. ऐसा कभी हो ही नहीं सकता कि कोई ना कोई साइबरपंक हमसे बेहतर ना पड़ जाए या हमसे कभी 19 या 20 ना हो जाए. They have to. And that is how the system works. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think while the government is making its own effort, it's studying, and also the scale of the problem is big here as far as the government is concerned. Would you like to tell us about the concept that we are together here for? What do we mean by zero trust, and how is that something that we as a system should strive for?
As I heard both sir speaking about their challenges, right? We get a sense of empathy. The service that they deliver is so critical for the evolution of this country. It is so critical. The scale at which they operate is unbelievable. We can't even put our mind towards managing 200 departments, 300 TB of data, managing across all different departmental teams. It is extremely difficult. And where organizations like Zscaler aspires is, we are a company that was founded by an Indian. He's an Indian born in Himachal, living the US dream. He's a farmer's son, first-time entrepreneur living in the US. And he started this company with the objective to secure data and secure users, be it enterprise, be it public sector. So we help secure a lot of governmental organizations across the globe in many countries. We're also working very closely with Government of India as well as NIC very closely to safeguard, help India become cyber resilient, because this is extremely critical for managing a country as big and diverse as India. When I look at the operations within Uttar Pradesh, it's at a similar scale. It's equally complex, and I think one of the things that organizations like ours, it's not just us, many organizations like us should come together to work together to build a similar security for the government of Uttar Pradesh as possible. One of the things that we also want to extend is, like Sir said, bringing cyber literacy. We, having worked for the last 15 years in this space, we certainly should invest together in bringing cyber literacy to all the governmental organizations across Uttar Pradesh. That's something that we hope to collaborate and work with ET as well as the delegates here to bring this to the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Well, thank you so much for that insight. And I think we've had enough food for thought on this area. And what I can see is hope on the horizon, with organizations like you willing to work for the cause of digital literacy, cyber awareness, and with governments departments like committing themselves to this cause and trying to make an umbrella sort of system that is able to secure the interests of all of us. So on that note, I would like to close this discussion, and I would also like to thank my dear panelists for sparing their time and giving us this distinct insight and helping us understand this topic in detail. Thank you so much, sirs.